Hello and welcome. I am Scrapalock, and this is City of Heroes. We are with Liberty Lass, our level 35 character, who has 3.5 million roughly XP, earned about 300,000 to go to get to level 36. 16.7 million influence. It just gets higher and higher. We just earned our day job badges, physician and professor, for taking time at the university. So I've got so far, I think I've got all the day jobs that I have had offered to me. However, I have not tried logging out in the architect. I think uh, the AE Architect Entertainment does have a day job badge, but I think with a lot of the day jobs, they don't post to your to the list of things that you could get until you actually get a minute or so of them. So we'll do that at some point, but right now we're on a story arc for Anton Sampson, who says that Lisa Colbert decrypted that packing slip, and it pinpoints a warehouse the Nemesis automatons are coming from. If you're ready, it's time to raid the place. And this is in Brickstown, so we'll head there. Hope everybody's having a good time. It is the middle of my spring break week. There's so many errands and things that I have to do, and I don't want to do any of them. I just want to take the week as a break. But I know if I do, I will regret it, right? I have to still have to fill out my taxes. If I don't do that now, I'm going to have to do it on a weekend or something and kill a regular weekend. If I have to wash my car, if I don't do that, I'm going to have to do that on a regular day and kill that afternoon or whatever. Um, I need to head to the bank and talk to them about setting up an IRA, and if I don't do that now, I'm going to have to do it in a couple of months, right? At some point, I'm going to have to do all of these things. I might postpone the bank visit. I don't have to do that this week, but I do need to get the taxes done. So instead of doing the taxes, I'm procrastinating and playing City of Heroes. It reminds me of Professor Dungeon Master, who's got a great channel called Dungeon Craft. It's great if you're interested in D&D or anything role-playing game, fantasy role-playing game related, or horror, because he also does Call of Cthulhu stuff. You can watch his channel. He's great. He's got lots of good advice on it. He also has a bunch of gaming news that I'm not going to really talk about. So there's a bunch of controversies in the gaming world, and we're just not going to talk about those here because we're here for fun and not controversy. But yeah, in one of his, he was talking about in one of his videos the fact that he waits to prepare his adventures. They play on Saturdays, right? And he waits until like Thursday night before he starts preparing Saturday's session. And he talks about that being whether it's procrastinating, and he said he puts the pro in procrastination, which I thought that was really funny. But then he went on to say there's procrastinators, people who procrastinate well, and then there are amateur procrastinators. I don't know if he called them that, but I do. I tell my students this, my advisees sometimes. There are procrastinators and amateur procrastinators. And a procrastinator, somebody who puts the pro in procrastination, is different from somebody who doesn't, right? The amateur procrastinator, the one who doesn't, isn't a professional procrastinator. Just waits until it's too late, right? It would be like me waiting until 1 minute before midnight the day taxes are due to start my taxes, so you don't have time to do it, right? A procrastinator knows how much time it's going to take them to do a thing and waits, but they leave themselves enough time to do it. So, for example, he said he knows it's going to take him, say, 4 hours to prepare a session, and he'll do it 2 hours on Thursday night and 2 hours on Friday night. And the reason he waits until Thursday night is because he knows in his group there's a chance that somebody is going to cancel at the last minute, and he's going to have an incomplete group of players. And so if he preps something around your character and then you don't show up, that's going to be a problem. Right now his whole prep is wasted. So he said, yeah, he waits until Thursday, and then when he has enough information to know who's going to be there at the session, then he starts working on it. And he always has enough time, and he said he never is unprepared. Now, that's not the case with taxes, right? I got all of my tax information by early February, and I could have done it any time after that. It's not like I'm waiting to find out whether I'm going to have more deductions if I just do something this month, because nothing I do in 2024 affects the taxes from 2023. So, yeah, that's literally just amateur procrastinating. Just me preferring to play City of Heroes to doing my taxes, which I think most people would probably agree. This is a lot more fun. Now, I do usually get a refund, so at least, you know, doing them doesn't usually give me bad news. Although I did get some interest on an inherited IRA. Not much, it's a tiny amount, but that will probably cut into my deduction, I guess. Yeah, unfortunately, the inherited IRA that I got after my mom passed away in 2022 is, because it's not a lot of money, it's actually more trouble than it's worth, in the sense that I'd almost pay the whole amount the thing is worth just to not have to put it on my taxes and deal with it. Because what I always liked is how simple my taxes are. I don't have a lot of deductions, and it's basically just, here's my salary, here's my one or two deductions. It's just, you know, I can use not the 1040 EZ, but the 1040A. I don't have to use the full 1040. I can take the standard deduction, and that's enough, and I just don't have to deal with it, and I like not having to deal with it. I can't remember who it was at one point was talking about making taxes so much less complicated that you could file them on an index card, right, on a postcard. And I always thought, man, I would love that, just because I don't like having to deal with it, right? I don't mind. So now I'm going to show you guys. These are 2 lieutenants. I'm going to show you how to do them, so that you don't that neither one of them buffs the other one. Right, so we're going to take one of them down as far as we can. Of course, missing all the time does not help. So you're going to take one of them down as far as we can, and then we're going to switch to the other one. It's a little bit dangerous in the sense that if you don't take either of them out, you're still getting hit by both. But now, we're going to do AoEs. Try to take them out simultaneously. I don't know if we'll be able to do it, but we'll try. Alright, well, let's see. Do we have whirling hands? Let's try it. Oh, just missed. See, he had a little too much health left. But the idea is you take them both out. And if you take them both out, then the one guy dying couldn't buff the other guy with his, like, dying gasp, fortitude, or whatever it is he's putting on them. So when you're doing total focus, right, I don't think you have to hit, right, to have it actually trigger, do you? And so that's a really nice effect of that. So you don't have to sit there and go, all right, I've got to try to hit the minion with the lower defense with total focus, possibly wasting the blow. Because even if you miss, I think it still charges up the focus. And we have 2 clues to find, so this may be one of them. 1 to go. Yeah, I wasn't actually... I hear another glowy. I wasn't actually planning to play City of Heroes right now, in fact. It's a ways before lunch, and I had some time. And I was going to play AO Tennis 2. I've been playing that again. I'm really enjoying it. I've got a new career started, and I'm having a lot of fun with that character. And she's in one of these really ridiculous exhibitions that goes 5 sets for the women's matches, which is absurd. And my guess is this is just lazy coding by the developers who, yes, he still charges up with a miss. Lazy coding by the developers. It's probably a men's, it's probably supposed to be a men's tournament, which is why it's 5 sets. I don't know. It's an exhibition. Nobody does 5-set exhibitions. Nobody does that. Like, the 5 sets take a lot out of you, and they're very hard to do. And no person, man or woman, is going to sign up for a 5-set match that's an exhibition. Why would you drain that much out of yourself for an exhibition? Nobody does that. A lot of times exhibitions are just a single set, right? And they certainly aren't 5 sets. But in any case, it's a 5 set match, so it's going to take me like an hour to play on grass. But I like playing on grass, and it's giving me some good practice on net play and everything. So I was gonna, I'll play it, right? Why not? Turned it on, and there's this really annoying bug that they've had literally since 2020 when the game came out. It's been 4 years now, 4 years. And for no reason anybody can figure out every once in a while, even though you're online, you can prove it. I'm online right now, right? That's how I'm playing City of Heroes. The game does not recognize that you're online, and you cannot play it if you're not online. It will not let you start the game. And I'm like, why? Why? I'm planning to play a solo career mode game. Why do I have to be online? This has got to be one of the most annoying characteristics that game companies have been putting into games for, I don't know, a number of years. They did this with SimCity, was it 4 or 5? One of them, where Maxis put out, or who is it? Is it Maxis who's running it now? EA? Right? They put out a version of SimCity where you could not play with other people, but you still had to be online to play your own city on your own desktop. And it's all to make sure you didn't pirate the game. Literally, that's all it is. Right? MMOs kind of started this, right? People accepted for MMOs, for obvious reasons, you have to be online to play, right? And when companies saw that that was acceptable in MMOs, they just started doing it with their game. And it's like, why? This is a Steam game, right? I can't be playing it pirated if it's on Steam. Why does the game have to be online for me to play it? It's very frustrating. And it's one of the things that made me, among other things, it's one of the things that made me stop playing earlier. I couldn't get online for several days, and I know I filed a complaint with the company, and by the time they got back to me, it had just started working again. And since then, it hasn't happened to me. I've been playing just fine for like 3, 4, 5 months, and now it's doing it again. So I'm playing City of Heroes instead. Right? That's my answer was, okay, if this thing is going to be buggy, I'll just go play a game I can actually play. Right? I know there's some little bugs in City of Heroes, but nothing that makes it unplayable. And so I don't understand why, it's one thing if it says you can't play, I can't get online, you're not going to be able to play an online match. I don't care. I'm playing career mode. I'm trying to level up my character. Right? And by the way, it's spring break. I have time to play an hour-long match today. I'm not going to have time to play an hour-plus long match of exhibition next week when it finally decides to work again. That kind of thing is just annoying to me. By the way, speaking of gaming and speaking of... Oh, guys, before we do, there's Sergeant Billings. He's a Warhol. So, so the way these things work is it looks like a robot, but what's actually going on if you... Is there a way to, like, look at him? I can't really see his picture. Oh, and this is cool. By the way, this shows you all the possible drops that this boss can do. Right, now obviously it's much more likely he's going to drop the white. Right? This is telling you what levels he drops them. Oh no, this tells you what recipes they're in. But he can drop all of these different things. I think it's much more common you're going to get these, and very unlikely you're going to get these. But these are the possible salvage drops. You can see these things drop a lot of different salvage. Anyway, as we get closer, what you'll see is there's like a little yellow helmet thing. There's actually a pilot inside here. So Sergeant Billings is inside the Warhulk robot. We'll clear the rest of this out before we go fight the boss. And I hear a glowy, but I think that's upstairs. So anyway, what I was going to say, speaking of annoying gaming stuff, I do want to point out there is some real gaming controversy in video games the last couple weeks. I will not be discussing it here, and I do ask if people just like leave it out of the comments. I don't want to get into political stuff. I'd really rather keep this channel about just games in the sense of how the games work and are designed rather than other stuff that's political, and this game and how it works and its history and role-playing games and just what's fun about them and that sort of stuff, not any of the controversial stuff. Let's just try to stay away from that, okay? Alright, so in we go. We're going to take out this guy here, and then I will not hit him with the charge up because we're going to use the charge up on Billings. So you can see in the yellow there, Billings is sitting inside there, right? He's piloting it. So this thing is called a Warhulk. Right, so when it's not a named enemy and it's just a random boss, it'll be called a Warhulk, I think. And so this is some of the steampunk tech that Nemesis has at his disposal. And those guys always blow up when they die. And we received iron as our salvage, right? So if we look in here, iron is a white salvage. So even though he could drop all that other stuff, what he dropped was iron. And by the way, that's how people figure out what things drop. And there are people who will, if they know that an enemy has a chance to drop, say, reactive gas, and they need a reactive gas, they will join. Let's say the Warhulk didn't drop all that much stuff, but only dropped 3 or 4 things, and one of them was a reactive gas, but it's got like a 1%, 5% chance to do it. What people will do is they get this mission. They'll go in. They'll not click on any of the glowies. They'll go to the Warhulk, defeat him, try to get the salvage, come out. Log out, log back in, resets the mission, go back in, come back out, and they just keep doing it, and you can essentially farm the Warhulk. Now, doing it for one boss doesn't make a lot of sense, but if it's a mission that has 3 or 4 Warhulks in it, then yeah, there are people who will do that kind of thing to try and farm the type of boss so that they can get the type of salvage they want. So we struck the warehouse, battling through the Nemesis troops and automatons, and the clues we found made the battle worthwhile. We learned that the prototype is some kind of a new robotic weapon. Well, we just fought a new robotic weapon, and now we're going to defeat all soldiers in the office in Talos Island. And where am I? My guess is that this will probably be the only other mission we're going to do, since defeat all missions usually take a while. And the reason I'm kind of going the circuitous route here is to just fill in a little bit more of this Brickstown map. I remember when when my character was high level in Super Jump, going through all the zones and just striping back and forth across the zones to make sure that I had the entire map cleaned up. I don't bother to do that anymore. I know what the maps look like and where all these little sections are, so I just don't bother with it anymore. No enhancement drops that mission. That's interesting. The other thing you know, somebody check me on this, but one of the things that people were concerned about when they put salvage and recipes into the game was that the number of enhancement drops would go down, right? That is to say, it used to be the only thing things could drop were inspirations and enhancements, right? Now they can drop inspirations, enhancements, salvage, and recipes. And so people are concerned, are we going to go from 50% of the drops being enhancements to like 25% or lower? And yeah, we use those enhancements to sell for money, and we use them to slot into our powers. And I think, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what they said was that the salvage and recipe drops were not instead of, but in addition to. That they were on a separate generator, so that you could get both an inspiration and a salvage, or both an enhancement and a salvage or a recipe. I think that's true, but somebody who knows, correct me if I'm incorrect, and also let us know if that's still the case. I haven't really paid a lot of attention to it, right? Like the drops just happen and I ignore them, and then after doing a mission or two, I'll look and see what I've got. I don't really care. So there's an inspiration, right? Keen insight. So I'm not sure whether you can get, I don't really remember. I think you can get multiple drops at the same time. But honestly, I don't watch it closely enough to even be sure of that. But I think the solution was we're going to put them on a separate drop probability. So let's say there's a 10% chance of salvage drop or recipe drop, and that's separate from the 30% chance or whatever of an enhancement drop, what have you. We do know, of course, that the higher ranked the enemies are, the more likely they are to drop something. There's a regular Warhulk. And he's got all the same salvage drops. Right? But that doesn't mean he's going to drop a salvage automatically, I don't think. Let's keep an eye on it. And see if they drop it every time. I really never pay attention to it. This guy, by the way, is +2 to us. This is going to be quite the fight. This is a +2 boss. And again, there's a pilot in there. It's hard to see, but if you look inside the yellow, there's a pilot in there. I don't know if you can actually see it, but that's what's supposed to be happening. You can see that we are kicking serious butt against these high-level bosses. So what did we get? We received Focus, Rage. That, we did not receive anything else. So no salvage drop. I'm surprised this guy didn't aggro. I'm really enjoying this new costume for Liberty Lass. I think she looks pretty cool in it. What is silly level? It's just an elevator to a hallway to an elevator. Yeah, some of these office maps are pretty sort of labyrinthine and bizarre. Let's take a look at these guys. So these guys drop salvage also? Or is this just the faction drops? This looks like a faction drop list. It's not just the boss, it's the faction. Okay. I thought it was just the boss, but I guess it's the faction. So we got both a recipe and an inspiration drop, so you can get two things. And there's another Warhulk. This is Lance Sergeant somebody or other. It's really weird to me that the named boss is lower level than the random Warhulk. These guys are super awesome to fight. They give great XP, as you'll see. 5,000 XP, 11,000 influence. And we got ceramic armor plate, and dramatic improvement. So dramatic improvement is that. And then if we look in the salvage, the ceramic armor plate is right there. So that's another white salvage. And we got a perplex confuse recipe. That's this one. Level 36 yellow recipe. That was from a minion. So I guess the minions don't drop better stuff. They're just less likely to drop stuff. Is anybody else around? I don't want him buffing anybody. Come on up here. Come on. Okay. I should get him away from, in case there's a minion just wandering around down there. This way he doesn't buff them. Not that we can't hit them or defeat them, it's just a little more annoying if they're buffed. So I didn't hear the buff go, so I guess there isn't a minion around here. Another hallway to an elevator. So silly. And these levels are so small, it's like, why isn't this just a one level thing? And this looks like another small level. So the Armiger Surgeons, I thought they could heal each other, but I haven't noticed them doing that. Pretty sure the lieutenants can, but I guess the minions maybe can't, but if not, then why call them a surgeon? So if you're wondering why I burned that one, because this is my purple column and I don't need the green in there, we have 3 big greens. Yeah, let's see if this guy does any healing. Let's just start on this guy. You gonna heal? Doesn't seem like it. No, he's not healing at all, so why is he a surgeon? Oh no, he's not a surgeon. That was a sergeant. I misread that, thought it was a surgeon. Sorry about that, guys. I was just trying to see if the Lancer Surgeons would heal. It looked like the Armiger ones didn't, but I could have sworn they used to heal. Haven't fought Nemesis in a very long time, so I'm rusty on just remembering how they do stuff. Armigers. So we fought a couple of Warhulks now. We haven't fought any Jaegers yet. Those are like the little floating robots. There's usually nobody in this room, so you often wonder, like, why did they put this on the map and then never put a spawn in here? Every once in a great while, there's a hostage in there or a glowy, but it's very rare. I sometimes even forget to check it, and then I'm like, where is whatever this is, and where is this thing I'm looking for? And it's, yeah, it's just in that room that nobody's ever in. And there's a sniper and another elevator. Come on. Thought I pushed it. Yeah, so one of the things that I don't have a lot of patience for is video games that come out and they have a bug and the developers like literally just never fix it. AO Tennis is a great example. That game came out in 2020. They put out 2 immediate patches in 2020 to fix stuff, although they never did fix the I can't get online bug, right? And then as far as I can tell, they just stopped supporting the game. Literally the year it came out. They're still selling it. They're still getting money for it. But when people tell them there are still bugs, they don't fix them. And I don't like that. I remember BioWare, and they're normally a pretty good company, but I guess this is after EA had taken them over. And one of my favorite games of all time in BioWare is Jade Empire. And it was originally put out as an Xbox game. And then at one point, oh, I screwed that up. At one point, they put it out for the PC as the Jade Empire Special Edition. That's the one I originally bought back in like 2008, and I really enjoyed it. I think Jade Empire is one of the best games BioWare has ever put out, and I very much love the storyline, and I love the way they did the martial arts. You guys know I love scrappery martial artsy characters, and so I just played the crap out of that game. I mean, I played the open hand and closed fist variants. I played. There are like 2 weapon forms, the staff and the sword, and a bunch of other forms, and I like made several of the different forms my main form. My favorite was Fortune's favorite, which was the sword. So it was actually Scrapper's favorite, not just Fortune's favorite. But yeah, I loved that game, and I played the heck out of that game. And then that game was made for Windows XP, I guess. And I don't think it worked on Windows 7, or maybe it was made for Windows 7. It didn't work on any. I can't remember now. I think it was made for Windows XP, and the Special Edition. In any case, I don't know if it's still available, but at one point, at one point I bought it from the Xbox store, even though it was an Xbox and not an Xbox 360 game. I actually bought it from the Xbox store, accepted the warnings that it wouldn't be, high def, and I played the heck out of it on my Xbox. This would have been in 09. Gosh, yeah, Jade Empire must have been before 08. It must have been like 03 or something. I can't remember now. You can look it up. But so I had it for the Xbox. I still actually have it for the Xbox. If I plugged my Xbox in, I think I could still play it. But I don't use the Xbox anymore. I haven't used the Xbox in, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. The Xbox 360, it's old. I don't know if I could even get it to work with my current TV anymore. I just don't even know. So I went to the Steam store and I saw the Jade Empire Special Edition, which used to work for Windows back in Windows XP, is for sale on the Steam store. This was not, I don't know about now. At the time, it was for sale, and I thought, oh, maybe I should get it. And then I read the comments and the reviews, and it was like, don't get it because they sell it, but it won't work with Windows 10. And like, I guess if you can't get it to work, you could, if you only have it for a couple days, whatever the rules are, you can ask for a refund. But yeah, they're selling a game that's unplayable. If you're willing to pay them for it, they'll take your money. But it was, at least at the time, it was like, you don't buy it if you expect to play it, because you can't play it. And I think there were some like fixes for it if you really wanted to be a computer nerd, but you had to do stuff like somehow find a way to run a Windows XP emulator on your Windows 10 machine and that kind of stuff. And it was just like, it's not worth it. And trying to play it through the regular Steam interface didn't work, even though they were selling it on Steam. And so, yeah, that kind of thing always annoys me. You should not be selling a game you know doesn't work. And when it comes to AO Tennis 2, if their game is not going to work and they're not going to fix it, then they should at least put a disclaimer on the thing when you go to buy it saying, we are aware that our game might possibly not function, and you accept the risk that this game will be non-functional when you purchase it. And then maybe I would have bought it anyway, maybe not, because there really aren't very many any good tennis games out there right now besides AO2. But I mean, look, I did my homework, I read the reviews, I realized there was some risk, but I didn't know about the online, you can't play the game without being online bug. Never occurred to me. Unfortunately, with games like that, part of the other the sort of assumption, the inference that they make is, if you can play it online against other players, that's the way 99% of people are going to want to play it, and that the career mode is really not that well developed, because they don't actually expect people to play career mode, and they don't expect people to get on the game and want to play it offline. And they don't want you to play it offline because they want to check that you own the game. There's such stupidity in it. One person was saying that if your Steam login game has certain characteristics to it, length or whatever, that is not compatible with their login names for the game company, that it'll break. But the question is, why would it break now when I've been logging in for weeks, months, maybe almost a year? I don't know. It seems like just incompetence at that point. And yeah, they're probably not a company. If they made, like, there's a rumor there's going to be another AO 2024 or AO 3. I doubt I'll buy it. I think I'm going to wait for Top Spin 4 or 5 or whatever is supposed to come out next year. And there are the last bad guys. And then I think we will stop for today. Yeah, so regarding, talking about games and stuff, that kind of discussion where we're talking about developers, not supporting their game and stuff, feel free to have at it in the comments. Please just stay away from the types of political stuff that border too much on the out-of-game, in the real world stuff, which we just don't want to address on this channel if at all possible, because I just don't want to get into that. I won't specify it. You guys all know the sorts of things that we're talking about. Power of Gray is an endurance reducer. Or is it? Oh no, oh sorry, this is Power of Gray here. Oh wait, no, here. There. It's an enhancement. So I don't know, we got two things at once a couple of times. So it seems like they in fact are separated, where you're getting salvage and recipes on a separate drop rate from inspirations and enhancements. I'm not sure if the inspirations and the enhancements are actually on a separate drop rate, or if you can get both at the same time. I don't know. Anybody who knows exactly what the drop algorithms are, let me know. I feel ignorant because I should know this stuff after playing the game this long, but I honestly, again, I don't pay attention to it. What I do is I run a bunch of missions, and after a few episodes, I think to look and see what have I got, Mostly I notice the enhancements because they start to fill up and you just sell them here, but let's see, what else do we have that we don't need? Oh, this is good. Resist. We'll take that. I don't think we need that. We don't need the confuse. Oh, resist damage, huh? Let's see. What does this one do? So titanium coating, there are 6, so I'm probably not going to, I don't know if I'm going to need that in a 6 slot, but the buffs include increasing energy and negative energy resistance by 1.5%, increasing health by 1.5. So you said, what's the 1.5? Well, we already have our health increased by 2.5. This will make it by 4. And if you do that with a couple more sets, you're looking at 10 or 15% health increase. That's a lot. That's a whole big blow from a boss. Increasing lethal and smashing resistance by 3%. Improving regeneration rate by 10, increasing melee defense by 2.5, and lethal and smashing defense by 1.25, which would bring that up to about a 6. This is not a bad set. The question is, what would we put it in, right? Because you need 6 slots to get the bonus, and we don't have 6. And this is the only place we could put. We're going to have 6 slots, but this is a passive, right? And this set here is like it's got endurance reducer, 37%. That's a waste. It's a waste on a passive. I don't even know if you can slot it because we don't need endurance reducers on that thing. But assuming we can, because it is a damage resistance set and it's a damage resistance power, we're going to waste that entire endurance reduction. So the only way I would use this set is if we took mind over body and we 6 slotted it. Then you might use that set. There really isn't anywhere else to put it. Indomitable Will is a defense. Rise to the Challenge doesn't have resistance in it, right? So you have to look at the allowed enhancements. This allowed enhancements is damage resistance and enhanced heal. So you can put either of those in here. Again, those, so same with fast healing, right? This takes healing enhancements, but if you want to put a 5 or a 6 enhancement set on here, you'd need to add more slots. I don't have the slots for it. Maybe in the upper 40s we'll have some. I don't know. But we still need to add 5 slots to this, this, and this. That's 15 slots plus 2 here is 17, and 2 here is 19, plus probably 6 for the next power. That's 25 slots, right? And we get 3 slots each at level 36 and 37, 40 and 42, right? No, wait. 36 and 37, 39 and 40, 42 and 43, 45 and 46, 48 and 50. So we only have 30, we have 30 slots coming, and 25 of them are spoken for. So we could potentially put 2 more slots in here and 6 slot that for a set. And we could potentially put 2 slots in here and 6 slot that for a set. So those are possibilities. That would probably happen at level 48 and 50. I doubt it would happen before that because priority is these guys and these guys over here and these guys. Did I add that up right? 5, 10, 15, 17, 18, 19, 24. How did I get 25? So I don't know. It's going to be a while and well into the 40s, right? At 36, we're going to finish this and add 1 here, right? Get it to 5 slots. At 37, we'll add 1 more here and add 2 slots of total focus, and we'll put endurance reducer and an accuracy on it. 38, we'll get our level 38 power. 39, we'll probably finish total focus and put triple damage on it. 40, we're going to start working this power, probably put a slot in that and 1 in each of these. 41, we're going to get our pool power, don't know what it is, right? And that's the thing. So 24 or 5 of the 30 slots we have coming are already spoken for in our primaries and secondaries without 6 slotting fast healing Mind over Body or Rise to the Challenge, right? And then we're going to have some sort of an epic pool. And if that speaks for 5 of the slots, then we cannot 6 slot these other powers. So we're just going to have to see, guys, how it goes. That's as much as I'm going to plan. We'll play it by ear as we go. As we get each power, we'll do things. All of our primaries will be 6 slotted no matter what. And the first and last secondary are going to be 6 slotted no matter what. After that, we'll just see what happens. I hope that was informative, and I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been City of Heroes.